All right, last one here. We have personal loans, lines of credit, and overdrafts. Um, so maybe you want to borrow money, right? Maybe you're buying a house, maybe you're buying a car, maybe you're buying a boat, maybe you're buying a camper, maybe it's just a student loan. But whatever it is, sometimes you got to borrow money, right? Which means for the privilege of that, you need to pay interest on it, right? If I borrow 10 grand to buy a car, I might have to pay 12 grand back in total. That's how it works. So a loan is a fixed amount of money that you borrow all at once. It's calculated on the day I receive the money until the final day of the loan. Now, there are things with variable interest rates, specifically mortgages. We ain't touching that right now. That's a personal finance course thing. We don't need to worry about financial literacy. We don't need to worry about that right now. But we call this an amortization period here, um, is how long the loan is. Now, a line of credit lets us borrow money at a pre-approved amount, and you're only charged interest on the amount of money used. But there might also be overdraft protection, which lets me withdraw more money than I have in the bank, but there's often a fee and interest attached to this. For example, if I got 20 bucks in my bank and I pay 30 bucks for a meal, not knowing I had 20 bucks left, I am now negative 10 bucks. So they still let me do it. They let me take the money, but now they're like, screw you. $50 fee. You now are in the red 60 bucks. So that's what an overdraft protection is. It let this payment go through, but it came with a $50 fee. So kind of sucks, right? We've talked about payday loans. We don't got to talk about that anymore. They suck. They're terrible. I would rather go to jail than get one. I would legitimately probably break into a house before I got a payday loan because you're screwed if you don't pay that off immediately. All right. So Richard's car insurance of $1,400 was due in 2 days, and he did not have the cash available. He went to a payday loan for a store, and he had to repay the store $1,635.20 within 14 days. What's the daily interest rate? Well, we've kind of talked about this before, right? First off, my interest, how much did I have to pay extra? 1635.20 minus 1400, $235.20, right? That's how much interest I paid. Right? I equals PRT. My interest is $23.20. I know what that is now. My principal was $1,400. My interest rate, I don't know, but the amount of time it took was 14 over 365. Right? So just like before, I will divide by 14 over 365, and I will divide by 1,400, and that gives me my interest rate, right? Right? So it'd be $235.20 divided by 14 over 365 divided by 1,400. Interest rate was 4.38. But that's it as a decimal. As a actual percentage, it's 438%. Again, there's some algebra involved in there. You can look at this date like step by step here if you want to see how that's kind of done. But yeah, brutal, brutal, which means in a year, if I have $1,000 loan and I don't touch it for a year, I just let that interest queue up, I will eventually owe $438, sorry, $4,380. Ridiculous. It's gone over 4 times in value. Um, so you can do that same thing here for question one and question two. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna do question two with you. I just guessed question one. So my interest here is 15 bucks. What's the annual interest rate? I equals PRT. 15 bucks equals my principal. How much I borrow was $400. I don't know the interest rate. And then the loan, it's 10 over 365, right? It's done 10 times in 365 days. Just like before, take the 15 bucks, divide it by 400, then divide it by 10 over 365. You should end up here with an answer of the interest rate, should be equal to 1.37 or 137%. But what's the daily interest rate? Ooh, that's an interesting one. How am I supposed to calculate that? Well, this here is assuming it's a year. It happens 10 times per compounding periods. But in this case, it would be 10 over 1. Let's try it out. So same thing, right? I have $15 of interest. I have a $400 principal. I'm trying to find the rate. And now it's just 10 over 1. It's times 10. Right? So just like before, divided by 15 bucks, divided by 10. Sorry, divided by 400, not 15. Right? So 15 divided by 400 divided by 10 is equal to the interest rate. 15 divided by 400 divided by 10, 0.00375. 0.00375. Turn that into percentage, move that decimal over 2 times, you'll get 0.375%. Right? If you're not trying to do that, again, just boom, boom. There it is. So there's my answer. That's the daily interest rate. So it goes up 0.375% every single day. Monday plus 0.375%. Tuesday plus 0.375%, and so on and so forth. So I trust you guys for question 3. Again, if you're not sure, please ask. You got 3 weeks for this. It's time. It gives you guys time to reach out for me. I'll send you a personalized video. Example 2. Safia, don't want to see the solution there. Safia borrowed $500 from a payday loan store and agreed to repay it in 30 days at a rate of 1.5% per day. How much will she have to repay? Well, I equals PRT, right? I'm trying to find the interest. So it's my loan was $500 times 0.0115. That's the interest rate times 30 days. 30 over 365. 500 times 0.0115 times 30 over 365. 0.4726. That's not right. Oh, it's per day. Sorry, per day. Again, easy to make mistakes, which means it's that, right? It's times 30 because there's 30, it's compounding 30 times and it compounds once a day. There you go. It'd be that 30 over 1, right? Sorry. 500 times 0.00115. No. I'm off again. Easy to make mistakes, right? Times 30 over 1 is just 30, right? $172.50. The interest she paid, I equals $172.50. Add that on to her $500 loan. She has to pay $600, $72.50. All right, so you guys should be able to do this here. I trust you guys with these ones. Question. Let me just double check these. Okay, it's per days. These are all per days, right? Yeah, so you guys should be done these same ways there. One of these does involve an algebra one here, which is this one. So that's important to note. Question 3, Stanley borrowed $4,500 from his credit union to do some home renovations. You know what? I don't want to go. Do I want to go back? Yeah, I do. I probably should. So $4,500 from his credit union to do some home renovations. The loan has an annual interest rate, yearly of 5.75%. It's decimal, that's 0.0575, and an amortization period, a loan period of 3 years. We need to go to page 320. Oh, I gotta go down. Oh. Oh, okay. We got to go to on this to calculate the following questions. What is Stanley's monthly payment? So he borrowed this much, $4,500. This is his interest rate, 3 years. So I need to go to, so this assumes for every $1,000 borrowed. Now we got to look, what's his interest rate? 5.75, and he did 3 years. So 5.75, here's 3 years. So for every $1,000, he's going to be paying an extra $30.31 as a monthly payment. So $30.31 per month there. So at this point, I'm not going to have enough space. So I'm just going to go into this. So we found out that $30.31, right? I hope that makes sense. I don't know how we found that. So I now need to, so this is how much interest he had to pay. So now I want to find, well, what's the monthly payment? Well, I have $4,500 here. And there's a month, again, for every $1,000. So this is basically, I'm figuring out that, oh, I just need to take this number and I need to times this by 4.5, right? Because I didn't borrow $1,000. This assumes 1,000. I borrowed 4.5 times larger than that. The reason they do this here is because, well, what if I give you a number that's not as easy? What if I gave you a much harder number than 4.5? So this would be his monthly payment, right? Because this is 4.5 times greater than $1,000. He has $4,500. That's 4.5 times greater. Now, question B asks us, calculate the total amount he will pay over 3 years. Well, that's pretty simple. He pays this a month. He pays $136 a month. He's doing that for 12 months of the year times 3 years. 3 times 12 times this. This is how much in total he pays for it. Then calculate the finance charge. What does that mean? Well, that's just the interest, right? That's the difference here. This is how much he had to pay. This is how much he borrowed. This is how much he paid in interest. It's that simple. All right, so I'll let you guys do this here. I believe that's the end of it. Awesome. So make sure you guys do that. Also check out the car loan assignment. And again, you're given lots of time for this. If any of this is uncertain, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to send you a video going over the questions that you're not sure on or you want double checking on. Happy to do that.